India. I am Janvi and today is International Women's Day. To celebrate the spirit of womanhood, I am sitting with some of the most powerhouse women. First we have with us Purva Damani. She is the founder of 079 Stories, this beautiful place that we are sitting in. Then we have Geetarsh Kaur, the founder of the Skill School. She is a model, an influencer and a person we get really inspired from. Then we have Minal Desai. She is the founder of Genesis International School. Today we will be sitting with them discussing about their journey, their challenges and what is the way ahead in their life and career. Well, welcome you all to Vibes of India.
Thank you, Jani. Thank you so much.
As this is Women's Day, is there anything you don't want to be asked? Like something that people have been asking you for so long and you feel like enough.
बाल क्यों कलर नहीं करती हो?
Okay. Yeah.
बाल सफेद क्यों रखे हैं? Women asking women, men asking me, everyone. बाल क्यों? दो करियर क्यों रखती हो?
Yeah.
कोचिंग अलग है, तुम्हारा मॉडलिंग अलग है.
Yeah.
अलग-अलग separate, altogether different. Why do you do that?
Right.
Stick to one.
Like people will not take you seriously. Like this is what.
People just want to ask that how are you multitasking or why are you
Multitasking. Yeah.
Why are you parallelly doing two successful careers?
But
Now
do you think women overall are always multitasking? Managing house or managing work or managing kids?
Yeah.
They're always multitasking, which they actually don't see it.
Yeah. True.
Women are born multitaskers.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
In my case, I think what is it to not have school kids on campus and all of that, and now because I work with schools and kids, every time since past 2 years all I've been asked is for the past two Women's Day as well, what is it to be with a school, what is it to not have kids on campus and all that. So I've had enough of pandemic questions. So this Women's Day, I don't want anything to do with COVID and pandemic.
True.
I think one I would like to add, इस उम्र में आके modeling कर रही है.
So for me also, I started my career at 39, and how can you start a career at 39? Don't you get tired? Don't you have kids? I had late kids, so I'm a younger parent. So that's where the question comes: why a late kid?
Yeah.
Why a late career?
Why?
And what is your best practice to deal with all such things that come your way? Like you just continue doing that, or you just not answer people? Like,
Yeah, you take it in its own stride and see. We women don't have to answer everything that comes our way. We don't have to explain, justify and defend ourselves.
Yeah.
People ask and that's okay. That's their worldview. That's how they wish to see us, perceive us. It's absolutely up to them. I am not liable to explain myself to you. And that's okay. If you hold a different worldview, good luck.
True. And as women, it's so important to empower other women, to help them in whatever way we can. So in your life, who is that person, maybe a woman or someone else, who have really made you understand what empowerment is or have empowered you in any way?
So I think coming to Women's Day and women empowerment, it's just started to getting too much cliche. I think if you see way back, women were always empowering women, helping in household chores, bringing up kids. Like I've heard stories from my grandma where they say, my kids were raised by my sister-in-law only. I never looked at them. I was taking care of the house. So there has always been a small empowerment somewhere or the other, but now it's suddenly become so big, the word empowerment. I think women, it's just made a topic of discussion. Women help women. That's never been a case. For me, I started work at 39, as I said, 4 years back, and there was Tao Gallery, Kalpana Shah, who's helped me build this space, who's taught me everything about art. From scratch, how to store, right from how to store art to how to hang art or everything related to art gallery. I don't have an art background, but everything has been there. I was not related. I had just approached as a layman, and that's, she just,
Okay. So she was that person in your life
who
who
really...
really...
for my work to change it.
True.
Of course, my parents, my mom and my mother-in-law, they've always been there, trying to support me, say just get out. The kids will be taken care of.
Okay.
So that's empowerment again.
Yeah. True. Anyone else in like your life?
See, I believe that I beg to differ also here. I don't know if you want to cut it, you can cut it later. But औरत भी औरत की दुश्मन होती है.
Yeah.
So you know, बहुत बार ऐसा भी होता है that women do not empower women. They are jealous. They are not up with the idea that she's successful.
pull each
she's
other
doing
down.
something well. They pull each other down. So somewhere down the line, I feel that you yourself have to be your biggest supporter, because if you fail to believe in yourself, external validations are never going to work. Primarily, you have to believe in you. So I think I have always believed in myself, and that's what brought me here.
True. You have to, empowerment can't come if you don't exist. Primary requirement is that you have to exist and you have to have a sense of self, and then there will be hundreds and millions of people who will come in and help. It doesn't have to be women only. So I have been, so if I stand here today, it is because of hundreds of people who have been a part of my journey. So I stand tall because hundreds have supported me in one way or another, and there have been bitter experiences and all of that, but that's stride of life, as I said. We don't, that's not something that I would want to harp on. If I talk of professional life, there have definitely been people, like she mentioned, who helped me set up school, understand. My own mother, she's somebody I of course look up to because I'm second generation, so I've always seen her work and kind of pull things forward and all of it. And then I had my own set of challenges to understand new age education, to kind of take it forward, was my own journey and that. And in doing so, I've met a lot of wonderful, powerful women. I've met a lot of women who needed somebody to just tell them that you have a voice and that you exist, and that's okay. So a lot of people have come to our school and felt empowered. A lot of places I have gone to and felt that. So it's about what you choose to look at. The world has everything. There is good in evil and evil in good, but you can choose.
It's with women and men. There are men also who tries to bring you down.
Oh yeah.
It's not only women.
Absolutely.
Human race is like that.
It's human race.
It's
I will
human race.
exactly tell you that it's a human race that will get.
It is.
And as she's brought out the point of men, it said that we have a pack of empowered women, but we didn't teach our boys to deal with this empowered women. So what's your take on this, and how do you think we can help the boys better?
See, we should actually talk about society empowerment
rather than gender
empowerment, because that's where we fail. If you talk about empowerment as a subject in whole, that's what is going to bring the change, not just women empowerment or male empowerment. In fact, I was talking to somebody the other day, she wanted me to say some lines on women empowerment. I said women empowerment se zyada, let's talk about the overall empowerment. What will a society do of empowered women if the society is not empowered?
True.
So it's important to create the balance.
So if you really want the society empowered, it starts in the family, it starts at home. Having the boys, young boys, understand that girls are not, that if there's something that's spilled, it is not the job of the girl child to get up and clean. Ke jhadu marna hai, to you also can pick up the jhadu, you also can wash the dishes, and you also can do the same thing. It starts from those small little basic things, and then goes up to the highest echelons of power structures and all of it. But it has to start there, and it has to start with the male and the female, the mother and the father, or the grandparents, or all of it. And until and unless that happens in homes, it is going to be very difficult to be mandated through just laws and so-called societal change. It doesn't happen top down. It has to happen from the bottom.
So I think there is so much of implant in the
conditioning,
kids, a lot of conditioning that goes on as a society. If you cry, you don't cry like a girl.
Oh yeah.
So there is a lot of conditioning that's being done when they are being brought up. This is right, this is wrong, this is what girls do, this is what boys do. So if in general everything has to change, the way of looking at things has to change. It's not about girl and a boy, but again, it's a societal thing, and there are gender differences, and there are species. We human race doesn't belong to one, so that's always going to go on.
True. Many a times the onus also falls on school to bring this equality or bring this ecosystem. So how, as a director of a school, how do you deal with it?
Multiple ways. The first thing that we do is we have co-ed, of course, but in co-ed schools also, if you've noticed, there are usually these rows of boys and girls. So you will always notice all girls on one side, all boys on one side. We're strictly against that. So of course, our seating system differs and all. even on the playground, you will see mixed teams. So you will see volleyball teams where girls and boys both are there. You will see girls playing kabaddi. You will see a lot more participation of the girls in whatever that is happening in the school. So there are no sacred spaces for girls and sacred spaces for boys. के playground में आपको सिर्फ boys ही मिलेंगे और पेड़ के नीचे वो PE के period में आपको girls मिलेंगी. Is not something that happens in our school. And it takes, thankfully, it is happening that way, but it takes a lot of conscious effort to do it. It doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design.
True.
That's just one of the things. The other is proper sex ed as kids are growing up. So like right from our grade 5 onwards, we have basic sex ed lessons, whichever are relevant to that age group, all the way till 10, 12. Understanding how this world works and not taking the scripts that are handed down to you, not kind of assuming that chokari avij hoy, ane am kehvai, na kehvai, because so many parents are unable to have those discussions back home. So simply talking about say periods, and that it's not impurity, that when a girl is menstruating, she's not impure, but that's something that we need to tell the boys, because you don't know what's happening back home. And they may be belonging to a conventional family where and which is okay. It's not about disrespecting their tradition, but it's just to say that this is a biological phenomenon. It has nothing to do with...
It's normal.
It's normal, and that it's not purity and impurity. It is just this idea of what happens to a woman's body and to a girl's body. So, yeah, these are just a few things. Baki you can come to the school and...
Geetarsh, you have shattered so many stereotypes through your work, through your journey. So tell us about this transformation and what was the catalyst, when was that one point, or if there was one where you really felt that you can do this, or you would want to transform your life in this way.
So, okay, let's talk about the stereotypical modeling that I tried to break somewhere. So, my first project was where I was offered the role of a mother to be played in an ad, and I happily did it because thrill of it, light, camera, action. It was just that. First time facing the camera, I did well for myself, and fortunately I got a lot of offers post that. And I was stereotyped every single time to play the role of a mother because I'm having grey hair. So I had to break that somewhere, I am more than the color of my hair. I am not just a woman with grey hair. I am more to my personality, to my thoughts, to my attitude, to my perspective, to my work. A lot of various, layers to me. Sure. And that I want to tell to the world. In fact, somebody told me that you should stick to your coaching career and not modeling. And to that I answered that, I don't want to live or die with a profession. I want to do that with an identity. I want to create an identity of my own. I just don't want to be acknowledged as a very good coach. I want to be known as Geetarsh with, multiple things that she did or she's doing. So I think that's where I, got my portfolio done and came into the modeling industry, breaking the stereotype that you don't need a particular age to get into modeling, a particular hair color to get into modeling, a particular body size to get into modeling. You just need to have the confidence to get into modeling.
True. So it was all self-driven, the whole change.
Yes, it was self-driven.
And you faced a lot of things that came your way which was not so positive in the sense.
I think every time we try to do something out of the box, we are not taken in that stride where everyone is supportive of you. You do face a lot of challenges, but then it's up to you whether you want to get demotivated by those challenges or you want to get over them, show your true side.
Yeah. And Purva, tell us that you just shared the incident where you were saying that you didn't face sexism while growing up because of the family setup that you come from. So if you could share a little bit about that so people would know that no, not every story is grey.
So I'm born in a house where our generation, we are all girls from my paternal side as well as maternal side. I went to all girls school, Mount Carmel, from KG to 12th grade. And I work in an industry where I was working in a corporate sector where again it was HR consulting, so it was more of female oriented than male oriented.
Okay.
I don't know, somewhere I have always been in this, I've suffered racism but not sexism.
Okay.
So that's a difference. It's just been I've been overprotected, or I've
just
been only associated with females.
Okay.
And post the work, it's been 4 years in this art industries. Again, where most of the gallery owners or gallerists are women. It's again a women. I deal with men as an artist, but there is no, because they look up to us as a gallery, so there's again no say, we are the boss to them.
Okay.
So there is no sexism again there. So somewhere I've just been lucky or unlucky, I don't know.
Okay. But a very different experience.
Very,
than
very
what-
different experience, I would say, where I have not dealt with.
True. And also wanted to know that the way you deal with sexism at a younger age, as a teenager and then as an adult, is very different. So if you can share some of the experiences of your life, how you dealt with situation for all the younger like group of girls who might get inspired by your experiences.
Okay, so basically what you are asking is that how would I have dealt with a situation if I was younger? The young blood gets very riled up. So somebody staring at you, or you get a snide remark, you're like all jhanda leke, you know, activism is what you want to do. How dare somebody tell me this? And I've been that. I've been the rowdy person who'd be like, dare you say that to me? Tera thoda tod dungi wala. And over a period of time, I've learned to realize that having a sense of self is so much more important than trying to pick a fight. So choosing your fights is very important. You will not be able to fight everything. So you're better off doing what you're doing and doing it well, rather than answering or getting into cat fights, bickering and all of it. So that's something that young women, if they are interested in wanting to listen to, focus on your work. And believe me, good work and dedicated at work gets recognized irrespective of the gender. It might take a little longer. It might be a little more curvy path than the straight path that you had imagined. But you will always be revered and respected if you stick to your guns.
Okay.
So,
interesting. Anything there?
Yeah, I think sexism also begins at home. You know, constant comparison with siblings, brother, sister, वो भी एक बहुत important role play करता है, where घर पे comparison होता है जब आपके साथ कि तेरा भाई बड़ा है या तेरा भाई ज़्यादा समझदार है या so I'm sure a lot of people also face these real time problems where comparison of sibling is happening and that is more hurting than, you know, people comparing you outside because that's internal and then you have to face it every single day.
So it stays with you.
It stays with you. It shapes you to a level where maybe your perspective doesn't change for a very long time, till the time you realize that what is it that you have to do to change that perspective, or how you carve your way out of that path. So I think it's important, as Minal said, to focus on the right is very, very important. Doing the right thing, focusing on your hard work, focusing on what your vision is extremely important. And sometimes you have to learn how to put a deaf ear to a lot of things. That's an art which we all have to learn.
Interesting. And on Women's Day, it's very easy to sit in AC compartments and talk about empowerment, but at the same time, now as we speak, there are young girls who are not allowed to enter schools because they are wearing a hijab. So that thing is going on. I mean, that thing started in Karnataka, and it's still a debatable thing on, like, should girls be allowed to enter schools with a hijab or not. What do you have to say about this thing? Because we all are in the 21st century and there are women who are earning and having a career, and on the second side we have this reality.
Disrespecting, absolute disrespect towards the choices. It's a very individual choice. So I think people need to value.
I agree with that, but that choice is also embedded on that. It's compulsion to
No, in fact, I have a lot of friends who belong to that. In fact, and it's a choice that they have made for themselves. Nobody in the family is wearing a hijab, but only she's the one who's wearing a hijab.
But it is, I agree with her, it's completely on a choice and nothing can be forced. It's a choice an individual makes. So there is no religion attached to that, there is nothing attached to that, it's just a pure choice.
True, not allowing children to come to school because you're wearing a certain dress is insensible. So कल कोई पगड़ी पहन के आएगा तो आप क्या करोगे? You know, where do you draw that line? But there is a lot more to play here than just that hijab. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of there are a lot of
personal
structures and hidden agendas that are there. So yeah, if you want to discuss that, this is going to go on for another 1.5 hours.
Lastly, any one wish for women, especially in Gujarat? like anything that, you know, maybe our level of education or maybe our level of, say, sports or anything, that if there is one thing in Gujarat that might help women in general. We are already in a safe state.
Yes.
But yeah, if there is anything else.
I strongly believe even for women to deal with so many things, mental health issue has to be made visible, as we spoke about it. It has to be identified, it has to be accepted as just a normal flu, like we deal with a disease, and that is taken seriously. So this is a part of it, it's not madness. I think at every stage, every human goes through the mental,
so many,
right from adolescence to puberty, there is a mental change that happens, and that has to be identified. That is very strong, that I think has to be made and identified all over, not only in Gujarat.
But over.
But yes.
Anything else that comes to you?
I think they just need to we just need to give them a platform to come and talk about things.
Yeah.
A lot of times women do not, even men, they do not talk because they don't have the right platform. They feel they'll be judged, they feel they'll be questioned. But when you give a platform where it's non-judgmental, it's helping, a lot of things can be solved.
So, yeah, just a stage to speak about.
Stage to speak. Not just for Gujarat, but I think overall, if we could expedite the execution of existing laws. So while Gujarat is seen as a relatively much more safer space for women and all that, and believe me, it is in many manners, while the data doesn't always support that. What I would want is that if there's something that's happening, it is addressed at a police level, at a judicial level. I find a lot of times we women end up in trouble because we do give up on things because we don't want to go into execution of laws and all of that. So simply speaking, one thing I would wish for women is that, of course, better workforce participation, etc., but simply having more access to places, having better roads, better well-lit streets. You will be amazed at how those small little things, they change the participation of women in the normal functioning life. So just having more access for women to public spaces, to be able to go into a garden and not feel like, you know, unsafe, not to be able to board a public transport and not be groped and not be mishandled. So yeah, just having
small things which would make a
lot.
They're
huge. They're huge. I work with like 95% women workforce. Teachers are, most of them are women. You will be amazed at how many women choose not to work because the school is based X kilometers away from my home. Because what if you call me in the evening and I'm not able to reach there? So small little things, but they make such huge career decisions based on that. How will I go there? So just having access, having safer public spaces, those they change so much back home.
True.
So, yeah.
Great. Anything else that anyone want to add?
No, we're done.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Thank you so much for sharing your idea of empowerment with us. And just for more such interviews, for more such stories, keep watching Vibes of India, and a happy International Women's Day.